Hi there guys, I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech, and in this video I'll be comparing the Asus Zenfone Lite L1 with the Redmi 6A. Now before we get started, these are the specifications of both phones. Asus Zenfone Lite L1, which I'll be calling as Asus L1, is being sold exclusively on Flipkart only in one variant, priced at 6,000 rupees for 2GB of RAM and 16GB of storage. Now Redmi 6A is sold exclusively on Amazon.in and Mi.com in two variants. Base variant is priced at 6,599 for 2GB of RAM and 16GB of storage, and the next variant is priced at 7,499 for 2GB of RAM and 32GB of storage. Initially, base variant was priced at 6,000 rupees, but after the Diwali sale, they increased the price by 600 rupees. Now this 600 rupees price difference between these two phones is definitely huge. So let's see what these phones offer and which one is the best pick for you. First, I'll start the comparison with the design and build. Now both phones are made of plastic and are very well built. Asus M1 has a matte finish texture on the back panel, while Redmi 6A has a plain back panel. Now in terms of looks, the difference isn't huge, but Asus L1 definitely does feel good and more premium when compared to the plain looking Redmi 6A. Both phones have a flat glass on the front. They don't look that premium, but you can easily put a good tempered glass on it. Now because of the new 18:9 aspect ratio, both phones are much longer and fit pretty comfortably in a single hand, and you can also use them single-handedly if you have big hands like mine. Overall, in terms of design and build, both are good, but if you have to compare each and every aspect of both phones, comparatively, Asus is slightly slimmer at 8.15mm and it weighs 5 grams less than Redmi 6A. Now Redmi 6A weighs 145 grams while L1 weighs 140 grams. Even though the difference is pretty small and negligible, on side-by-side comparison, Asus L1 feels slightly lighter and sleeker. Even the power and volume buttons have a nice clicky feel to them on Asus L1, while on Redmi, they feel too plasticky and are slightly hard to press. Overall, in terms of design and build, there isn't a huge difference, but if you have to pick each and every detail, Asus L1 is better. Now when it comes to hardware, once again both phones offer you very similar set of features. Both phones come with all the basic sensors like proximity, ambient. Both phones even have a compass, a LED notification light, FM radio, and a dedicated SD card slot for expandable storage. Now coming to the stuff missing, both phones are missing a fingerprint scanner and gyroscope, which is okay considering the price. Now these are the SIM card trays of both phones. Both phones obviously have support for dual SIM. Redmi 6A has support for dual 4G and dual VoLTE, so you can use two SIMs in 4G or use two Geo SIMs in VoLTE. On Asus L1, we can use 4G or VoLTE only on one SIM at a time. Now that's like a small con for Asus. Now both phones also have support for face unlock. It works well in good lighting conditions, it is kinda slow in low lighting conditions, and in complete darkness, it's mostly a hit or a miss for both phones. Now coming to the auto brightness sensor, once again it works on both phones without any issues. On Redmi 6A it's very sensitive, like it changes the display brightness very frequently, while on Asus L1 it needs some drastic change. Like if you move around in your home, brightness won't change that easily, but once you move out of your home, like when you go outdoor, then brightness changes. Overall, in the hardware department, both phones are almost same, with Redmi having a slight advantage when it comes to dual 4G and dual VoLTE. Now coming to the display, both phones come with a similar 5.45-inch display with HD+ resolution in the new 18:9 aspect ratio, so the phones are much longer, as I've said earlier, much more easy to hold and use single-handedly if you have huge hands like mine. Now those are all just the specifications and physical looks. But when it comes to the picture quality, display on Redmi 6A is simply very warm, like very warm, while Asus display has much better color balance and better color reproduction. Even in terms of display brightness and sunlight legibility, once again Asus L1 is slightly better. So overall in terms of display, Asus L1 is definitely better than Redmi 6A when it comes to color balance and color reproduction. Now coming to the cameras, which happen to be the most important thing about your phone, Redmi 6A has a 13MP camera on the rear with f2.2 aperture and a 5MP front-facing camera with f2.2 aperture. Asus L1 also has a similar spec 13MP camera on the rear with f2.0 aperture and a 5MP front-facing camera with f2.4 aperture. Now these are the sample pictures. Now just like the display, images from Redmi are a bit warm, dull and a bit overexposed, while images from Asus have good color balance, good exposure control with eye-popping colors. Whether it's regular shots taken with rear cameras or selfies, images just look better on Asus. I don't know why, but for some reason, portrait selfies look better on Redmi 6A. Now coming to rear camera portrait mode, we don't have that feature on Redmi 6A, but we have it on Asus L1. These are the sample pictures. Edge detection isn't perfect, but still good enough. Now coming to video recording, we can record video in 1080p on both phones, but Redmi offers electronic image stabilization, which is a really rare thing to see in this price segment. Now coming to the footage from Redmi is definitely stable than Asus, but it's not all that usable, it's not sharp, and has a lot of focus hunting issues. And the footage itself is warm and a bit overexposed. Comparatively, footage from Asus is not that stable, but has good color reproduction. Overall, in terms of camera performance, I'll pick Asus L1 as the winner. Now coming to performance, Asus L1 sports a Snapdragon 430 processor, while Redmi 6A sports a Helio 822 processor. These are the Antutu and Geekbench scores. Now in terms of raw performance, Redmi 6A is better than this phone, but when I played PUBG on both phones, Asus L1 was much smoother than Redmi 6A. So if playing PUBG is a priority for you, then Asus L1 is definitely better than Redmi 6A when it comes to gaming performance. Now for regular usage while opening applications, Asus was a bit more responsive. Memory management is good on both phones, but it was slightly better on Redmi 6A. Overall, in terms of performance, if you like to play PUBG, Asus is the winner, or if you're a normal user, then you can consider this round as a tie or pick Redmi 6A as the winner. Now coming to the software section, both phones are running a skinned version of Android. On Asus it's called Zen UI based on Android 8.0 Oreo. On Redmi 6A it's running MIUI 10 based on Android 8.1 Oreo. Both phones offer you tons of features like dual app, secondary space, game acceleration modes, and many more, and have a completely different look and feel. So when it comes to software department, you can pick the best one based on your preference. Now coming to the audio department, both phones come with an audio jack and the audio experience is pretty much average on both phones. But when it comes to speaker, Redmi 6A has it on the back, while Asus L1 has it at the bottom. Audio from the speaker is definitely louder on Redmi 6A. Here's a side-by-side comparison. Now coming to battery department, both phones come with a 3000 mAh battery and a 5W power adapter inside the box. Both phones take about 3 hours to charge the phone completely from 0 to 100%. Now when it comes to battery life, once again it's pretty much the same on both phones. You can get about 4 to 5 hours of screen on time on both phones depending upon your usage. So guys, to conclude, overall, if you are really tight on a budget and want to buy a phone around 6000 rupees, I'll suggest you to get Asus Zenfone Lite L1. It's a bit more cheaper than Redmi 6A, but you'll get a better display, better cameras, and you'll have a bit more advantage when it comes to playing PUBG. Now Redmi 6A is not a bad phone. It has its perks, like you can use dual apps for all the applications and the UI looks slightly modern, and it also supports dual LTE. But the display on this phone is very warm and color reproduction is completely messed up. So if you don't care about the display and want dual LTE, you can get Redmi 6A as well. So guys, what do you think about these two phones? Which one will you pick if you have to buy a phone at 6000 rupees? Do let me know by commenting below this video, and if you're planning to buy any of these phones, please use the link in the description, it always helps the channel. And if you want us to make any specific video, tweet out to us with the hashtag AskGreedyTech on Twitter and I'll try to make it as soon as possible. I'm Nikhil from GreedyTech signing off. Have a nice day.